A trip to the SFL Championship is on the line, and you are looking live at Sports Gamers Online Stadium in beautiful Baltimore, Maryland, where tonight the defending SFL champion Mexico City Aztecs take on the five-time SFL champion Baltimore Vultures for a chance to fight for SFL supremacy once more. Welcome to the SFL Semifinals. Good evening. I'm Cameron Duty, and I'm joined by my partner, Anthony Ellison. Anthony, it's a pleasure to be with you. It's a privilege. And as commentators, this is the type of games that you and I dream of calling. And as football players, this is the type of game that you dream of playing in. So for these teams tonight, to get to that SFL championship game, what are your keys? How are they going to get to victory this evening?
It's going to be a team effort, Cameron. I'm telling you, it's the unsung heroes. It's the people that you're not going to expect that's going to come through and step it up. We already saw it in the quarterfinals. This is no difference here. This game is for the marbles. This is going to get you into the championship, and everything needs to be on the table here. Throw everything at your opponent.
And if you can't tell, folks, our blood is pumping, our heart is racing. You are not going to want to go anywhere for the next hour and a half or so. Let's get this thing started. Baltimore will receive, and we are underway in the SFL semifinals. A kneel down in the end zone, and Baltimore will bring it out. All right, as we said, two well-experienced postseason teams. Baltimore going to get the first start here this evening. Who will join Vancouver in that SFL championship? Well, if it's up to Jack Wigmore and company, the Vultures, who have had a great season, want to get off to an early start here. They come into this thing 10-2. Movement already on the line. Benji Matson, the tight end. And a handoff to start this game to the Hall of Famer, T. Roy Gaines, for a gain of 4, Anthony.
Yeah, and this is what Baltimore is going to do. They're going to establish a run, come into heavy formation, double tight ends, they motion one to the side. They're going to run it up the middle. It's all about Mexico's interior linemen to contain that run.
2nd and 6, Wigmore throwing out of the backfield. Second straight play for T. Roy Gaines. This time he catches that one and gets close to the first. Let's say hello to this Baltimore starting offense. We mentioned Jack Wigmore. Now let's mention the halfbacks Warren Murray and David Anderson, the fullback T. Roy Gaines, and the wide receivers Ivory Irvin, Daley Holder, and Mac Chima. The tight ends Benji Matson and Jackson Roberts. The tackles Portia Henson, Olivia Bleeker. The guards are Sir Charles and Alden Bleeker. And at center, Don Johnson, and that front line doing what they need to do as Warren Murray ground and pound there for the first down.
Yeah, you got Benji Matson and Jackson Roberts on the same side there. That's a heavy load. You need to start shifting over defensive linemen, shift your linebacker over. You got to sell out on that side, or that's just going to be an easy first down every single time.
First set of downs for the Vultures. And it's once more a handoff, getting all the backs involved early in this one. That's a carry by David Anderson. This Mexico City defense, talented bunch. Defensive ends Evan Miller and Saron Yates IV. The defensive tackles Chance Wall and Dan Tritz. The linebackers John Fowler and Quatzinho Leah and John Osiris. The cornerbacks Gerard Brody and Liam Ryan and Merrick Itera. The free safeties, two Hall of Famers, Jeffrey Daggs and Max Jackson. Throwing out of the backfield to T. Roy Gaines, and the ball is popped loose. And it looks like Baltimore will recover. Good heads-up play by number 77, Olivia Bleeker, to recover the fumble.
Yeah, and I like that. You saw one person with the arm tackle there, held him up just in time for Yola. She came in with a nice hit stick on the football right there, caused a fumble. Now we're in a 3rd and 7 situation for Baltimore here. Got to get to that first down marker.
Aggressive play by Quatzinho Leah and this Mexico City defense. Wigmore with a chance to throw deep here, double covered. And the intended target, Ivory Irvin, takes a shot, and that's going to end their first drive of the evening. 4th and 7, the punting unit comes on with Maddie Coffins.
And that came from the fumble right there. It pushed them back a little bit out of that range to run the football, and that's going to be key for Mexico City. You got two Hall of Famer safeties. They're going to have to show up today on the run and pass coverage.
Veteran Maddie Coffins here with a good punt inside the 20. return to the 25-yard line. So let's say hello to our defending champions, the Mexico City Aztecs offense, and quarterback Jordan Sipe. The halfbacks are Jacob Morrison and Hall of Famer Ray Bentley. The fullback is Buford Van Dam. The wide receivers Jason Bartley and Honus Odeby. Noe Terrazas and Jared Dumas. The tight ends Bill Henry. The tackles Ova Yonda and Setlamina Osiloto. The guards are Greg Forrest and Tlalani Supremo. And at center, Ogden Foundy. And that brings us to this snap here on first down. First play from scrimmage. And look at Jordan Sipe finding his man, Noe Terrazas, making a man miss. One play, one score, touchdown Aztecs.
I'm telling you, Cameron, today this game is going to be electric. You already feel it right there. Recognize the man coverage on the outside right there. That safety did not come over and help in time, and that was an easy pitch and catch right there. You saw the quarterback looked at the safety, froze the safety in the middle, and threw that one-on-one coverage on the outside. That's how you start on your drive right there. You get a stop, and then you go score. This is why they went to the Super Bowl last year, and they're trying to get there again this year. Phenomenal play.
Coverage. Terrazas runs right past Elijah Warfield, takes it to the house for 75 yards. Talk about a quick strike. We barely got the lineup called. The extra point is good by Chaz Blackwater. And Mexico with the early lead here in Baltimore. And that's going to silence his home crowd just a little bit.
Yeah, Baltimore has to come back on offense. They had a good identity. They was running the football with the jumbo package right there. They just got to be careful because we're seeing Mexico can score on one play. So Baltimore has to do something to slow it down.
I think the irony in all of that is you see a decent return here by Baltimore. The irony is that this Baltimore team for many, many years have done just that same thing. So capable of scoring on one play. And now they have to face it on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, and now you want to slow down the game. You want to slow everything down. Your running game really is going to be so key there because you don't want to keep on getting Mexico City the ball back.
Leroy Gaines with a bulldozing run, and look at this again. We're talking about this energy, this burst of adrenaline that both of these teams have. Leroy Gaines reading the room, if you will, knowing that he needs to get this momentum back, and he does a good job with it there.
Yeah, Hall of Famer right there. ISO run over the middle, ran over number 40 that came from the safety position right there, from the linebacker, John Fallon, and just ran it up the middle right there. Averaged 4.3 yards a carry last game, and just continue on right there. That's a good run on first down.
I'd like to say a big thank you to Justin Rasad and Ron Haynes, who is in the stats truck this evening. So good to be with them, providing some great info for us out here as that pass is incomplete, intended for Jones, number 82.
And keep an eye on that play. So that's the second time there were two incompletions on that skinny post over the middle. They're going to throw that after they do a good run right there because they're trying to get the linebackers to commit to the run to throw it over the top.
2nd and 10. Wigmore looking, throwing again, trying to target Ivory Urban. This time, he's able to find his man. He reels it in, and another 1st and 10 for the Vultures.
So we got Henson, Bleeker, Charles, Bleeker, and Johnson on your offensive line. They created a beautiful pocket right there. I love how the quarterback kept his eyes down the field and delivered a strike. Wasn't phased by it, but good job on the offensive line. Keeping your quarterback upright in that nice pocket.
Jack Wigmore coming in to this game with 19 touchdowns on the season. That is the 3rd most in the league. He's one shy of 300 career, and he's not going to get it this time. He throws a pick right into the hands of Mexico City and number 50, John Osiris.
It's the second back-to-back drive when something happens, like a fumble last drive, they got it back. That time they wasn't lucky. He was coming in on a blitz and jumped the route perfect. That is just unfortunate. It's a timing on that interception right there, and it could have went back. Another big play by Mexico City now to get the ball back.
Mac Chima, the intended target on that play, that it almost looked like it never even had a chance, honestly, to develop. It was It was over before it began. Man in motion here for Jordan Sipe. That's Jason Bartley moving to the top of your screen. And now we'll see the Hall of Famer Bentley with the carry gain of 1 to start this series. Let's quickly, before Mexico City decides to possibly go on a tear here, announce this Baltimore defense. The defensive ends Robert Brady and Al Walker. Defensive tackles Ralph Leopold and Nate Brown. The linebackers Frank Smith and Jeff Milanishin and Alvin Mack. The cornerbacks Ben Stacking Paper and Elijah Warfield and Roy Towers. The safeties Young Vaught, Hall of Famer Giovanni Bolt, and John Patrick Levine. Hand off to Bentley, who has to fight hard to get a 3rd and 5 opportunity coming up here. Good job by Baltimore up front.
Look, Ray Bentley, T. Roy Gaines, you know, we've seen them in the league. You cannot arm tackle them. They're going to break the tackle. They're going to get yards after contact, and that's going to be key. That defense needs to do proper tackling.
3rd and 5, the home team crowd getting into it. Plenty of time throwing deep over the head of everyone comes the tight end, Bill Henry, with a nice hands catch of the game brought to you by Richwood. I'm going to go ahead and call it. Put a Richwood handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it. SFL 4K23. Look at this.
It's what happens when you have a 6'4", 250-pound tight end that can go over the middle and you throw it at the high point. That ball is either going to get catch or it's going to be overthrown. That's the best ball that you can type of do there, so the defense can't get to it. First down.
Shades of Lynn Swan in Super Bowl 10 there, and Al throwing over the middle. And you've got another completion to Terrazas. 2nd and 5. And Mexico City coming out red hot. Baltimore a little lukewarm here.
Yeah, now this is when I'm starting thinking my defensive mindset, Cameron. Baltimore needs to start sending some pressure right here. That pocket is too easy for Sipe to step up and make a throw.
And off to Bentley, not able to go anywhere, and a very important 3rd down early in this one.
Yeah, you know, like points off of turnovers, those are always key when you can get some type of points here. Baltimore is looking for a stop. They're not going to try to give up a first down. They're okay if they settle for a field goal here, but you got to send some pressure at Mexico City.
Bentley, they give it to him. He bulldozes forward, tries his best, but he's stopped by Smith head on and going to be stopped just short. 4th and 1, and we expect a field goal attempt here possibly.
More do y'all know, that's a really key tackle right there, because I think, honestly, Bentley had room to run to get the score right here. So just settle for a field goal and just hopefully you can get back on offense and you can get something going.
Chaz Blackwater, the 5-season man, season 23 All-Star, tacks 3 points on there with that field goal right down the middle. And it is a 2-score game now for Mexico City, ahead 10-0 on Baltimore. 3:39 remaining in the first. Cameron Duty here with Anthony Ellison against Justin Raside and Ron Haynes in the stats truck, and Cameron Irvine at SFL headquarters. The nightcap here in this SFL semifinal weekend. Earlier today, you just seen Vancouver punch their ticket for the first time to the SFL championship. So a lot of celebrating going on up north, Anthony, but right here in Baltimore, tensions are high.
Yeah, and you can feel into this crowd right here. This crowd is looking for something for Baltimore to get hyped for. Maybe it's something on this drive, but they got to put it together.
The silver lining in that cloud, I think you'd have to say it's a 10-point game as opposed to 14. We'll see what Wigmore can do. Coming back, and that's a dangerous throw, but he trusts his receiver. And with good intention there, Benji Matson able to snag that one. That could have been that was going to be an interception or, you know, a very narrow reception there. Look how close that was.
And you see Mexico City, they're jumping on each route. You got to be careful there, but that is just the connection that they have, Wigmore and Matson right there. They've been doing it all season.
Relying on your wide receiver to go up and make a play. Wigmore again, throwing to that side of the field, and you know what? If it was nice once, go right back to it. Matson again, 2 for 2 on this drive.
Yeah, and they has inside leverage on that seam route right there, and he's just throwing it up the middle, up the field. It's a tight window, right? It's right before the safety is going to jump it, but just right before it's going to take a lot of touch. It's a dangerous pass. A lot of quarterbacks is not going to make it, but when you have that connection like they do, they're going to do that all day.
Benji Matson with a really good season thus far. 6 receiving touchdowns on the year. 56 receptions coming into this game. That pass deflected. Again, dangerous. A lot of white jerseys in that area, but it falls to the ground incomplete.
Yeah, and what a way. If you can't intercept the ball, get into the passing lane. That's what they did right there, the defender, just to knock it up in the air. And that's scary. That's a tip drill situation. So hopefully they can avoid that.
2nd and 10, the 29-yard line of Mexico City. Wigmore pressure, and he's facing, throws another interception. Oh my goodness, and again, going back the other way. You had number 40 for Baltimore making the big plays on this drive, and now Mexico City's own number 40, John Fowler, with the pick to again stop this drive by Baltimore.
Back to back, if I'm not mistaken, pass deflections right there by Fowler, just playing that middle. Great coverage linebacker this season. And what a way, knocked it down the first time. The second time was ready for it, ball hawked it, and got an interception right here. Mexico City has came out to play, and it is phenomenal.
And you've seen the pressure in Wigmore's face, having a very difficult time this evening, having enough pocket there to throw an accurate football. Bentley pushed backwards, didn't have a chance on that run. It is a loss of 4, and coming up with the tackle is big 93 Al Walker.
And Cameron, is straightforward. When you send pressure, you send more than the lineman can block. It's going to interfere with your passing. It's going to rattle the quarterback. So that's the key. Baltimore needs to send some pressure too.
Top throwing. Bill Henry coming back to that one. Complete, making an early case for player of the game in this one.
I love that throw. Get it out of your hand. Nice little 3-step drop and drive on the football. Good job by Bill Henry coming back to it. So make sure you shoot it in front of the defender right there with a good first down.
He literally shielded that pass from the Hall of Famer, the strong safety, Giovanni Bolt. And a good play was made. These wide receivers, Terrazas and Bill Henry, on fire right now for Mexico City. And again, the danger here, if you are Baltimore, is you can't let this slip through the cracks. The defense coming up again. Good stop that time. Robert Brady, the defensive end. A loss of 3 for Ray Bentley. That's 6'4", 275 pounds, bearing down on Bentley.
Yeah, somebody should put a blocker on that. When you're blocking down, you're leaving that defensive end open. You better have a crackback block from that receiver, or that running back needs to get to the outside.
2nd and 13, Sop rolling out pressure again in his face, and somehow able to reel that one in was Jason Bartley. I thought for a minute it looked as if it could be a turnover there, and Bartley, look at that, one-handed. Oh my goodness.
We are seeing catches in traffic by both teams. Like this is crazy to start out. We're not even done with the first quarter yet, and we got 140 yards passing and a touchdown by sight.
Jason Bartley says that's what you get for giving up the nice hands catch already in this game. What a play and a handoff here by Bentley, who gets the first down. That was a crucial play. That reception by Bartley set it up to where Bentley could do what Bentley does and just ground and pound for the first.
Yeah, and that time just follow behind your pull guard and your line and your fullback and get you that first down rate.
Final play of the first quarter. Side pressure hit as he throws. It's going forward, so it is an incomplete. That will stop the clock, and we'll actually get one more play. And if I'm not mistaken, Anthony, that was Robert Brady around the edge who put the pressure on Sop.
Yep, that time showed the speed rush. The tackle just got off late on that line. You have to be careful. You don't want your quarterback to be taking blindside hits, and that's where fumbles happens, and that's how turnovers happen for Baltimore.
2nd and 10. Sop throwing again to the end zone. Gonna be a yard or two short, but that's Terrazas once more. Down at about the 1, maybe the 2. What a play. My goodness, folks.
Yeah, when you 6'6" receiver, when you can just get inside. So when you do that skinny post, that slant route, you have the size to step in front of everything.
Folks, that's going to end it here for quarter number 1. Mexico City leads Baltimore 10-0. Aerial coverage of today's game is being brought to you by Dags Drone Works, aerial photography and videography services for real estate, events, marketing, and so much more. Learn more at dagsdroneworks.com, and a beautiful view here of Baltimore as the sun sets in the background there, and we welcome you inside Sports Gamers Online Stadium, where Mexico City 1 yard away from making this a 3-score game. Camera duty here with Anthony Ellis and Justin Raside, and our good buddy Ron Haynes. Bentley stopped. No gain on the play. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and goal line offense is always difficult because you have less yardage to get into it, into the end zone. Right here, this fits for the defense here. Send some pressure up the middle, force them outside, and let your linebackers get to them.
Bentley again swallowed up, and the defense doing all they can do. Frank Smith coming in and blanketing Ray Bentley in the backfield. That's going to make this a more challenging 3rd and goal here.
Look, Cameron, don't get it twisted. Baltimore's been in this situation multiple times, 5 times been to the championship game. They know how to come and perform here. 3rd down, I still send pressure.
And they do. You're right. And there it is. Oh, my goodness. Jeff Milanishin around the edge, and Jordan Sipe didn't even see him coming.
And what we're seeing right now from Jordan Sipe that we need to get in his head on the sideline, stop holding the football. Get it out of the way. If you need to throw it out of bounds, throw it out of bounds right there. Baltimore, back to back to back. 3 straight plays when they sent blitz up the middle, and it created pressure. And that's a good way to stop them from scoring and settle for a field goal.
And it's Blackwater on again to attempt the field goal. The kick is good. And this red zone defense for Baltimore doing everything they can. I remember Mexico City was down to the 1 yard line, and the Vultures pushing them back. So this game, it's 13-0. And again, it's going to keep Baltimore in this game here, Anthony. It could easily be a 21-0 game, but because of this Baltimore defense and the resiliency, it's just a 2-score game.
And I don't think Baltimore offense is that far away from putting points on the board. They just have hiccups when they get close to moving the ball into the red zone there. So it just fixing that up. The running game is really good. T-Roy Gaines is getting good yardage from the carries here. They just got to put it together in that passing game.
There was a literally blink and you miss it, a fumble there on that kick return. If it hadn't been for Cozy Coleman from the special teams unit coming in and picking up that ball, well, that could have been disaster. So Baltimore, again, escaping. Turnovers have plagued them this entire game. T-Roy Gaines with the carry gets a gain of 1, 2nd and 9, and then that is Fowler with the tackle.
So right there, that was a good stop right there. Just got stuck behind the offensive line. But I would like to see a passing play coming out of this formation right here on 2nd down. Keep them honest.
Yeah, you called it again, Anthony. That's Wigmore over the middle to his man, Ivory Irvin. And he gets the first.
And I want to see that because you don't want to be predictable. You had you overloaded the left side. You had a tight end and everything. You ran the football the last 2 drives off of that. But let's show a little passing route there. Get the defense to back off of your offensive line. Now this is a time where you can run up the middle and try to get some yardage.
Close to midfield here. Murray with the carry, and there's the speed. You got the physicality from T-Roy Gaines as well as Anderson, and then you just get pure speed and agility out of Warren Murray.
Yeah, and 2 touchdowns in the quarterfinal game, and you see why. That 1 tackle and was able to break it to get a first down. And this is the balanced offense that we expect from Baltimore here. But I just, Cameron, keep going forward. I like the pass on 1st and 2nd down. You want to keep Mexico City on the edge.
Wigmore to throw, plenty of time, throws to the sidelines. That is incomplete. looking for Mac Chima. You mentioned that quarterfinal game against the Minnesota Legend. That was almost an instant classic, if you will, when it comes to playoff history here in the SFL. Baltimore escaping 30-27. And again, you know, it's been tough sledding for for Baltimore this postseason. You know, tough games, and then coming down to the wire against Florida, week 15 of the regular season. So they've played some tight contests lately. And you know, to a point there, as you see T-Roy gets tackled, brings up 3rd and 10. But to a point, Anthony, that kind of builds adversity in a team when you have to really grind it out for these victories. And another situation here today with Baltimore.
Yeah, and it builds character. It builds your team up there. Not every game is going to be a walk in the park, but it's how you fight through it.
3rd and 10. There's another one-handed grab out there by Benji Matson, who gets the first down, keeps this drive alive. And, you know, to make it short and sweet here, you know, Baltimore desperately needed that conversion.
Oh, absolutely. There, you didn't want to give the ball back to a hot Mexico City offense here, and you know what? Baltimore is not going to lay down. They have a prolific offense here. They want to run the football to back everybody up. Look at the box right here, Cameron. You see the linebackers playing a little bit more in depth with passing.
Wigmore, oh my goodness, that was in and out of the hands of Mac Chima. He was hit hard. You can see he kind of got folded over there. Qualtzinho Lila was in on that play, and it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, you gotta be careful right there. Almost like that could have been dangerous. Could have caused a fumble. Just let's get some ground game going. Let's get some running. That right side looks pretty tasty right now.
Back to the air. Plenty of time for Wigmore. Scans the field, goes deep to the end zone, and it is deflected. One-on-one there, you had Max Jackson, the strong safety, standing back there wanting to tip that one away from Ivory Irvin.
And I know we always want to do the big play there, but look to your running back. Spread the field out to make all defenders be honest on their coverage.
So now that kind of puts them back to a 3rd and 10 situation here. Wigmore rolling out to his left. One-handed grab. He finally gets it to Mac and Chima, as they like to say around here. And it's a 1st and goal for Baltimore. By far the best-looking drive of the game.
Let me tell you, Cameron, 2 clutch 3rd down plays. They're both with one-handed catches, but it's what Baltimore needs. This is a drive that you would like to see them score on. You know Mexico City is going to get the ball back at half, so you want to get some points on the board.
5:53 until we reach that halftime break. Ivory Irvin in motion. Play clock down to 6 before Wigmore snaps it, drops back, pressure coming, throws it to the end zone. One-handed grab once more by Benji Matson, and that's a touchdown. The Vultures finally on the board.
Let's talk about the key to this play right here. It was your tight end picking up the blitz on the outside that gave the quarterback time to move his feet in the pocket, saw Matson open on a out route, and deliver a strike right there. That play was not going to happen if you didn't pick up that blitz that was coming from Mexico City.
And the extra point by Shark Parkington, the Hall of Famer, is good. And now things get a little more interesting. And you know, one thing that can be said about this Baltimore team, Anthony, is the fact that we never seen any panic. Even though the turnovers and fumbles was taking place that first quarter and early into the second, you can tell it's the championship team. They did not get rattled.
And Cameron, that's telling you what the leadership is in the locker room. How they've been in this situation multiple times. Like you said earlier in the game, 5 times they've been to the championship. They have that mentality that the game is not over until it is triple his zeros on the board. They're going to keep fighting.
5 SFL championships in a span of 6 seasons, and then they went back as that pass is complete to Noe Terrazas for the first down. They went back in season 21. They actually lost that outing. So from a span of season 15 into season 21 there, it was almost a sure thing you'd see Baltimore in this position fighting for a championship battle. And now here comes the Mexico City Aztecs. You've got Jordan Sipe, you've got Ray Bentley, you've got this solid team built around them, and they have come out looking fantastic. Sipe with a throw, 4-yard gain, but that right there, Terrazas has really been a key factor, not just this game, but this season too.
Yeah, it's he got the trust of his quarterback, and when you get a trust of your quarterback, you're going to see more plays being called your way right there, because that they can rely on you to catch the football.
Bentley up the middle, fighting hard, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 5. Speaking of Noe Terrazas, 10 receiving touchdowns on the season, nearing the 1,000-yard mark. Actually, he's going to surpass that this evening. He just about got everything he needed on that big 75-yard touchdown reception. So, quite the season there by number 82. Left-handed Sipe.
I love that.
Yeah. Reverses direction there and throws to Bartley. Gets the first. A little misdirection, and it worked.
Normally, you don't really see that right there, and I'm not a fan of throwing across your body across the field, but what he did right there was he pretended like he was going to roll out to the right, and you usually see a drag route go across the field. They threw it instantly right when he rolled to the right and caught the defense off guard.
One incompletion this entire game to this point for Jordan Sipe. Bentley shrugs off a tackle, tries to get around the corner, and they're going to shove him out. They simply did what you have to do to a Hall of Famer, and that's just completely, decimate them. Any kind of avenue that they could get through, just completely block it off.
And that's the way to do it. They shot the gap. They made the running back bounce outside, and then you saw the rest of the defense come up there to get the tackle.
Loss of 3, so on 2nd down, you see Sipe rolling out, going deep, overthrows his man. Incomplete. Maybe a little too much heat on that one, but it does fall incomplete, so it brings up 3rd and 13 here with 3:40 in the half remaining.
You have tall receivers, but not that tall right there. Just a little bit of an airmail, but no harm, no foul. Big 3rd down coming up right here.
2 receivers on either side lined up there for Jordan. Side pressure coming. They get close to him. He's able to deliver. And again, not able to get him off the field. That is the wide receiver, Jared Dumas, with his first reception of the evening, and it comes at a great time.
You have a blanket coverage. That's 3 people right there. You can't give that up on 3rd down and 13. You want to put your foot on that 1st down marker. You give them everything in front, but you don't let them get past you.
So it's a fresh set of downs for the Aztecs. Sipe again to throw. Oh, now that was close. You had Dumas again, or I'm sorry, that was Terrazas actually lined up there on the left side, and that with a little bit of contact falls incomplete.
Yeah, this is a hard-hitting first half right here, Cameron, on both sides. They are making it difficult to catch the football. If you do catch it, they're going to make you pay.
A very physical game up to this point. 2 teams who know everything that's on the line here. Sipe throwing with pressure in his face. And again, finding Noe Terrazas for the 1st and 10. I hope we get a replay of that one, Anthony, just to show how much pressure Sipe was able to withstand to throw that one.
Look at the body control right there. Just had to make an adjustment on the turn, was able to keep your eyes on the football. And it's a tough catch. That's great defense by Baltimore, but a better throw and a better catch.
1st and 10. Toss play running right to Bentley. Bulldozes a man. Fighting hard for that 1st down and that end zone pylon. He's going to be stopped just a yard short of the 1st. And it's 2nd and 1.
Look, Bentley wants all the smoke, and right there, just didn't have to run over 49. Did it just because of purpose, just to let him know, like, hey, it's going to be a long day here if you're just going to send one person to tackle me.
Baltimore Vultures pass defense, as you see, 238 yards per game allowed this season, already 233 allowed tonight. Oh, my goodness, and fighting hard that time in on the carry was halfback Jacob Morrison. We've got an injured player, Anthony. That is Frank Smith on the ground for Baltimore.
Yeah, one of your key tacklers for the game right here. Let's just hope Smith can come back, because there's no other game after this. So let's hope he's okay.
Definitely needed in that lineup this evening. And it's 1st and goal for the Vultures. Or excuse me, for the Aztecs, with the Vultures lined up, trying to keep them out. They're going to do so this time. Big assist by Alvin Mack there to just do exactly that. 2nd and goal.
Yeah, and I don't expect them to pass right here. So if I'm Baltimore, more pressure.
Brings us to the 2-minute warning and a fast-moving, hard-hitting, tension-filled first half. You're watching the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. We welcome you back to Sports Gamers Online Stadium here. Ray Bentley trying to weave his way into the end zone. And again, going to bring up another 3rd and goal. Al Walker putting the stop. Bentley got close that time. Just couldn't punch it in.
Yeah, good job by number 33, Al Walker, right there from the defensive end position here. Big 3rd down and goal. This is where I'm trying to surprise them with a pass play if I'm Mexico City.
You hear the chants from the Baltimore faithful. Can they keep them out? No! This time, Ray Bentley running left side, dives into the promised land for a touchdown for the Aztecs.
And you know what? They did everything. Baltimore did everything they can, but Ray Bentley was going to. He looked at the huddle. He told the coach, "Give me the ball. I don't care what down it is. I'm going to get you 6 points right there." And that's when there's a will, there's a way, and that's exactly what he did.
And you kind of knew it was coming. You know, they keep getting these opportunities inside the 5. Baltimore doing a good job to stop them, but you knew at some point they'd find a way to punch it through. And a 14-play, 80-yard drive ends in a touchdown and an extra point by Chaz Blackwater. Mexico extends their lead to 13 with 1:33 to go in the second. We'll see what kind of return Baltimore can get here, as that's Chima from the goal line out to the 26-yard line. Now, Baltimore had the first half kickoff return, so we know that they're going to have to give the ball right back to Mexico City to start the second half. Well, how aggressive do you expect the Vultures to be here with about 90 seconds or so remaining?
When normally I would say I wouldn't be that aggressive if this is a regular season game. This is a playoff game. You know that Mexico City is gonna get the ball back. They just scored. You want to put some type of points on the board. So I am taking shots down the field.
Baltimore trying to close the gap. They start with Warren Murray leaping over defenders. They're going to say he gets the first down, and a good play there.
I love it. Look at number 63 right there. Portia Henson, she just came off the tackle position, didn't see nobody in front of her, and went to the next position to hit. Good job right there on that block.
We're under center, and he hands off to Anderson. A timeout is called, so 2 plays, 2 runs up to this point, and a timeout called here, Anthony.
And that is a timeout here to stop the clock. You have to believe, Hammer, that they're going to want to throw the ball down the field. You call a timeout for a reason. It's not to run the football. So maybe you're looking for something on the outside here. You just have to be careful because they already lurked one of your passes for an interception.
Ivory Irvin goes in motion. And as Wigmore with time, drops back, throws, incomplete. That will stop the clock and bring up 3rd and 6. So if there's anything good to really say about that, at least that was not in harm's way. They'll get a chance at it again here.
Now you look at it now, Mexico City has all 3 of their timeouts here. And you don't get the first down, they can call the timeout. That punt is probably going to put them on their 30, so they'll have a chance.
The tide really turns quickly here, folks, in this game. Wigmore throwing and Mac Chima. Oh, my gosh. Across the midfield stripe. And you talk about a player that knew there was no other option than to get that catch. That was Mac Chima.
I think he knew that in the huddle. Hey, we're going to throw you this little quick seam route up the middle. You're going to get hit. Hold on to it. And that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. And like you said, the importance of it, they knew if they don't get it there, they probably have to turn it back over with plenty of time for Mexico City. They fight on. Wigmore out of the backfield to Matson, the tight end, gain of 4, steps out of bounds. Very methodical up to this point in this 2-minute drill.
Very smart right there. Just give it to the back out of the backfield right there. Let it get to it was Matson. Let him get to the sideline and stop the clock here so you don't have to use your last time out.
Less than a minute to go here in this second quarter. Daly Holder going in motion now to the bottom of your screen. Filling the gap there. As Wigmore throws, complete to Matson, over the middle. Timeout called for. Again, just really smart ball placement right there. Good play schemes. One thing that I'm catching on that, Anthony, is that they're really not giving Wigmore a lot of time to set his feet. It's just quick drops and it's out of his hands. No pressure in his face.
Yeah, because holding the football is going to lead to trouble there. Now with the time, you have to look at more of the outside the numbers throw.
Wigmore throwing. Is that Matson again? Oh, it is.
Well, come on to the line.
No huddle.
You don't have to spike it here, but most likely you will.
No, they'll roll out. Looks like they're going to try that again. Ooh, that was close. I believe he did find Matson for a 3rd straight reception. Matson over the century mark in reception yards this game, 24 seconds. They snap it, and that quickly brings up a 3rd and 5.
All right, so 24 seconds. Now you have to get a first down. And then if you do get the first down, you got to hurry up to the line. I'm calling 2 to 3 plays in that huddle, Cameron, and then you're no huddling the rest of the time.
3rd and 5, as we said, 24 seconds remaining. The throw to the end zone, incomplete. And it's 4th and 5. They took their shot there, but that Mexico defense so sturdy and reliable, able to deflect it away. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, it's a blanket coverage there. They were trying to do a post and a cross and try to get the defense confused, and good job by that cornerback staying at home and just knocking the ball away. Didn't try to go for an interception because that could have been like a touchdown. But good job, Baltimore, getting some points on the board before the halftime.
That'll bring Tarkington on for this 24-yard attempt. The kick is good, and they draw within 10. So a quick 11-play, 68-yard drive that took just a little over a minute. They had a minute 28, I believe it was, to start this drive. So they make good work of it and get some points on the board.
I like the drive. What also they did was they chewed enough of the clock that Mexico City is really not going to press the situation. So it was kind of like, it was really a win-win situation for Baltimore. They got points on the board, but it's also they didn't leave enough time for Mexico City to do something.
As you see on your screen, that was the 4th scoring drive of 10-plus plays this evening. So it's been that kind of night. All of them in the second half as that stat is updated. So that just tells you what kind of game it has been, Anthony. It's really kind of like a hairline fracture there. I mean, it's anybody's game. And look at this. You expect them to ride off into the sunset to go into halftime. Mexico City says, no way. Sop finds Bartley for a big gain. And now you got to think they're getting close to field goal range for themselves.
Yeah, you can't go for an interception there. And that's exactly what we saw in Baltimore. And thank goodness that safety is there. Now we're going to see if they stepped out of bounds. Every yard counts.
Yeah. And the booth, under 2 minutes, we'll review this one. So we will get a Retroid retroactive look at the play. Get your console to play SFL on the go at GoRetroid.com. Yeah, you're right. He just went for the pick, and there you see him step out right around the midfield line there. So they're spotted at the 50, Anthony, as opposed to the initial ruling. Now that's going to make a big difference here in these final seconds that remain in the second half.
So you got 3 timeouts. You need to get a little bit closer. I would say comfortably for your kicker, about another 20 yards, 15, 20 yards. So you can throw it over the middle. You just got to call timeout.
Bill Henry in motion. With 12 seconds remaining in this first half. They give it to Bentley. 5 seconds. And a timeout is called. So we will expect Mexico City to maybe take one more deep shot at it here.
Yeah, I mean, 3 seconds left. I mean, I wouldn't say that's the best clock time management to do, because I wouldn't really run into football. I would be taking a shot over the middle. Looks like a throw is involved. I mean, you only got 3 seconds left.
Pressure coming. Instead, they kind of fool us all, and they hand it to Bentley. Well, I shouldn't say all of us. Baltimore able to stop that one there. And that takes us into halftime in this SFL semifinal matchup. 10-point game. It's still anybody's to win. We welcome you into the SFL halftime report. Cameron Duty here with Anthony Ellison. And Anthony, we've talked a lot about what we've seen thus far in this first half, but give me some of the key insights that you were able to pick up.
It was Mexico City. It was Jordan Sipe throwing the ball efficiently down the field, especially after getting that fumble. And then the first drive, you throw a first play touchdown there. And then Mexico City just getting into those passing lanes, getting 2 interceptions here. But on the other end, you got Baltimore that's staying in there with stout defense. Their linebackers are playing phenomenal. And then Matson already over 110 yards receiving. So it's going to be a 2-score game coming into the second half here. It's going to be a lot of excitement. This game is far from over.
That's right, folks. Let's take a quick halftime break presented by Brakes GPT, and we'll be right back.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
And Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
Folks, break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and so much more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner over at BrakesGPT.com. We'll see our first penalty of the evening here as we welcome you back for the start of this second half. And it will be clipping. And it'll go against the receiving team, so that's going to push Mexico City back to the 14-yard line. Now, a quick update that we received during the halftime break. Frank Smith, we've seen him go down early, that Baltimore Vultures linebacker. He, unfortunately, will not be returning to this game. He has been diagnosed with a concussion, and so we will not see Frank Smith for the remainder of this one. Very unfortunate, Anthony.
Yeah, the heart in the middle of that defense right there. But let's see, next person up. Let's see what he can do.
Ray Bentley showing why it's so hard to get him down, able to shake off 2 or 3 defenders there and rumble for the 1st and 10.
I want to see more Ray Bentley in the second half here. Let him break the tackles. Let him get these first downs. It's going to tire out the defense.
That's so interesting. You got a chance to see some of the stats there that was on the screen a moment ago. This game, pretty even, honestly. I mean, you see that the turnovers being the big factor, the points off turnovers, that has put Baltimore in the hole that they're in. Mexico City here with an opportunity to put together another lengthy drive. That last drive they had was 14 plays. And again, the ground game working good. So many talented backs. That's Jacob Morrison getting the carry that time.
Yeah, and once again, I love the run. It's really simple. It's an ISO run. You run between the center and the guard. You see what the guard does to that linebacker there. The running back didn't get touched to like 5-6 yards up the field. I love it. Some ground and pound to start the second half.
2nd and 1, they give it back to Bentley, and he gets just enough. They didn't make it easy on him. He was literally carrying, I believe that was Alvin Mack with him the entire way.
Another first down on the ground here. And what is that going to be doing, Cameron, is setting up the deep pass over the middle.
Hey, you know it's coming, and it's worked with perfection. Keep an eye on Noe Terrazas there, who moves down to the bottom of your screen. Number 82. But they toss it left side with Morrison, who gets 4. And like you said, they're just kind of biding their time. You know they'll take a shot eventually here.
Yeah, running the ball 4 times on the ground. There, they want to get some more time of possession on their side here. Really recognizing they have a 2-score game. This is smart football.
Sop again to Bentley. Tackled after a couple. Coming up to make that stop was Giovanni Bolt.
And I want to see more pressure from Baltimore there. You want to stop them before they get their legs running here. 3rd down and 4. They've been keeping it on the ground here, but this is their formation. They like to pass it.
Sop throwing deep, and it's incomplete. That Baltimore defense, as that was intended for Terrazas, they made him pay. They put him on the ground, and they were also able to get to the inside there of that offensive lineman and get in the face of Jordan Sop, and it made all the difference.
And I guarantee you, Cameron, this is what Baltimore wanted to have coming out the half. Didn't want them to get Mexico City to get some more points. Now to get the ball back. 2-possession game.
First punt of the evening by K.L. Barrett Jr. And he gets a good one, as Baltimore will get this ball back. Irvin there with the return, and not much, but that right out of the gate is a good start for the Vultures defense, no doubt.
Big hit.
So here we go. Jack Wigmore and company back under center from the 23-yard line, down by 10. 7:27 remaining here in this third. Mac Chima goes in motion. He's come up with some big plays throughout this game. And they start with a toss play to their Hall of Famer. Stiff arm, stays on his feet. It was very reminiscent of what we've seen Bentley come out and do on the opening play of Mexico City's drive.
Yeah, that stiff arm is just been so dangerous throughout his career here. Now, Baltimore's they can keep with their identity. They don't have to change their game plan. They can run the football.
Murray with the carry. They're going to say forward progress. We'll get the 1st and 10. Folks, if you are just joining us, Vancouver, the Legion, able to punch their ticket to their first SFL championship earlier tonight. And we're waiting to find out who will join them in the SFL championship that is coming up. We'll give you more details about that as this game progresses. Wigmore to throw. That's complete to Holder. Took a shot. Stays on the ground for just a minute to kind of collect himself. Gain of 9. It's been that type of night. A lot of hard hits out there.
Yeah, hard hits on both sides there. And, need to get up a little slowly. Make sure you're all right. Get some water. Hydrate. But this is smash mouth football. This is great defense on both sides.
2nd and 1. Approaching midfield. Murray able to shake one defender, but not 2. But they're going to say he's able to stick that arm over the chains there. And another fresh set of downs for Baltimore. Hey, an interesting stat that we were talking about before we come on the air, Anthony, was the fact that Baltimore has really held the advantage in this meeting between these two teams. 11 victories to just Mexico City's 3. Wigmore rolls out, throwing. That was almost, still could have been intercepted. Whew, that was close. Jeffrey Daggs was chasing that one half a mile down the road.
And Baltimore caught a break right there. The Hall of Famer could have took that one to the house right there. There was nobody around him. Just got to stay focused on the football. Baltimore caught a break. So let's say they can capitalize on the missed opportunity for Mexico City.
Wigmore with pressure collapsing, though. throws a nice little strike over the middle to Ivory Irvin. 1st and 10. Much more comfortable, this Vultures offense.
And, you know, they're not the big play abilities like we've seen in Mexico City. They're going to methodically go down the field, run the football. They're going to get the nasty 1-2 yard runs that get you the first down. And they're going to throw it over the middle, and they're going to catch you off guard on your defense there. I want to see more pressure, but this is the offense that Baltimore wanted to do.
So 1st and 10, under 5 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. Wigmore, kind of dangerous there. He's able to get McChima in the vicinity to reel it in, but that again was very, very close to being another turnover.
That quick pass right there, number 40, Fowler, has been all over the football, already has an interception today, was looking for number 2.
Put it back on the ground with Murray. Look at that shimmy and shake across the 30, fighting his way down close to the 25-yard line. And this looks a lot better and a lot more reminiscent of what we're used to seeing out of Baltimore.
Yeah, this is what they want to do on offense there. I love that run. Was heading outside, hit the cutback lane for another first down. You just saw the burst of speed by Murray.
Very methodical, taking time, and now here's the handoff. T-Roy bulldozing forward, and he gets 4. Tough run, just put his head down and took the contact, and 4 well-earned yards.
Yeah, this is a really good drive. Now we just got to see, Cameron, they're going to complete it here, but they're saying, hey, we're going to run the ball. We're going to invite you in. Let's see how well your blockers are going to do.
This drive started at 7:27 left in the 3rd. They're taking their time, like we said, trying to get in position here. That pass incomplete. Good coverage. We've talked about Jeffrey Daggs. We've talked about Max Jackson. Now Quatzinho Leah. She's getting in on it. And making it difficult for this Baltimore offense, as we actually see Johnny Kim there in for a pass just a moment ago. Wigmore rolling out, tipped and incomplete. Just as we were talking about people who have made a name for themselves in this game, let's throw Liam Ryan, the cornerback, in the mix.
Yeah, and what a pass deflection right there. Realizing that he couldn't get the interception, just knocked it down, stops the drive here. But if I'm Baltimore, I'm happy. You're going to get at least a field goal out of this here. And now you're down. You be potential field goal. You only be down by 1 score.
42-yard attempt by Shark Tarkington. And what can you say? The guy is just about automatic. The kick is good. A 12-play drive that just went 51 yards. But it gets the job done. And it is a 1-score game now. And Mexico City will get the ball back with 3:18 remaining in the 3rd. Now, folks, we want the SFL to reach more people, and I know you do too. And the best way to do that is to smash that like button, leave a comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and by doing so, you can help us reach all the people who need more football in their lives. And as always, thank you for your support of the Virtual Football Network, as Dumas brings that return out to the Mexico City 31. And I'm not trying to be over dramatic or anything here, Anthony, but this seems like a very pivotal time in this game for both of these teams. With the time running down as it has quickly in this 3rd quarter, Baltimore knows they probably don't have too many more chances at the football. And you know Mexico City knows this.
Yeah, and they're going to use that. They should use that to their advantage here and not give the ball back to Baltimore quickly.
And you look at just how even this game has been all the way across the board. It's like we said, just that early deficit, and that pass goes incomplete, intended for Barley. That deficit that Baltimore found themselves in, the turnovers and the points off turnovers, that's made a difference in this game.
Yeah, besides that, it's been a deadlock matchup, as expected for being a semifinal game. But those turnovers are the key. It's all about who makes the big play.
Second down, Sop sending the tight end Bill Henry in motion, who has just had a fantastic game today on the road here in a very treacherous environment. Pressure coming, and again, just as he's done this entire night, Sop making all the right decisions, and again finds Noe Terrazas out there in double coverage, might I add you, and still makes the grab.
Yeah, it's a cover 2, right? And what 48 was trying to do was bait him into the throw, which Elijah Warfield got the throw, just didn't get the interception right there. So much zip on the ball.
3 receivers bunched up there to the right side of Sop. They run it with Bentley, and he is stopped. Cameron Irvine was able to throw up a graphic earlier in this game showing, how, Mexico City has moved the ball almost 300 yards through the air, but not even breaking, 50 yards at that point on the ground. It's been one-dimensional, but it's worked for Mexico City. Again, and that could be a huge difference maker. We seen it earlier. The same play, Sop to Terrazas. Oh my goodness. They extend their lead. The Aztecs put 26 up on the board.
I don't understand. That is the play we seen. We saw it 2 plays ago. It is in the island. 48 is playing on the island, trying to gamble on the ball, and they're just torching that left side right there. And he's playing a cover 2. So real quick, Cameron, if you have a cover 2 defense, or if you're in man, looks like they're in man right there, you cannot get beat. You recognize you don't have any safety coverage behind you, and that's dangerous. Sipe walked up to the line, looked to the left, saw that he has one-on-one coverage, and threw a absolute dot.
A 49-yard touchdown pass from Sipe to Terrazas. It was an instant replay of what started this game off. One play from scrimmage early in this first quarter. They were able to do just that, as you've seen a few moments ago, to perfection once more. And now it is a 14-point game with 2:06 remaining in this third quarter. And basically, Anthony, it is the pressure cooker is boiling over if you are Baltimore at the moment.
Yeah, you recognize you gave them a big play. Your drive last time, they got you 3 points, took 7 minutes and 27 seconds on the drive. You had a lot of plays there. So now you're sitting here. Now I got to pick up the tempo a little bit. You can't have another long drive.
2:06 remaining in this third, and Baltimore needing to strike and strike fast. Wigmore throwing. And, for a lot of good plays that we have seen out of Wigmore this evening, of course, he does have the turnovers. It just hasn't felt fully comfortable this evening for number 9.
Yeah, just throwing it into that busy coverage right there is really dangerous. That's how he got his interception. That's not the way you play. You just have to be careful.
Pressure coming around the backside, one-handed there, or should I say 1 foot there, off his back foot, throws that one downfield, trying to make something happen, and Daggs is down there to knock it loose, incomplete.
And the pressure was able to get him to throw it off his back foot, not enough zip on the ball, and that's why I love pressure.
And quickly it's 3rd and 10. Wigmore rolling out, trying to buy some more time. Lobs that one to Matson, who has been his go-to this game. And he keeps the drive alive.
Each team has their go-to receiver. And you know what? At this point in the season, just keep throwing to them. If they're going to be open, great touch on that pass. Threw it right on the outskirts of Fowler, who's been a lurking linebacker the whole game. And now that's a big first down. You didn't want to get that ball back.
1st and 10, 1:35 and counting here in this third. Wigmore throwing across the way, and he finds Irvin, able to keep it in bounds just enough there to get a 9-yard gain and a 2nd and 1.
And the thing is, Wigmore can throw the football. He can place it where he needs to be. And this is going to be the time. Once again, you are running out of time of your football season. There is no tomorrow. There's no next game here. You win, you're in. If not, you go home.
Murray, nothing doing. No, that's Gerard Brody able to just come up and make a big one-on-one tackle there. You don't see Murray usually get tackled on the spot such as that.
Yeah, usually he was able to break the tackle to get the extra yardage here. 3rd down and 1. This is big for Baltimore.
They give it to T-Roy Gaines. Plows his way up the middle for the first.
Ooh, I'm a big fan of that. That's a quick in the fullback position, just a quick fullback dive. Get the first down. Now we got to start throwing it over the top again.
Wigmore throwing. Matson again. Boy, when you need a big play, who you going to call? For Baltimore tonight, anyway, it's Benji Matson.
Yeah, and Matson has came to play for Baltimore, keeping them alive here. Just beating them on the drag route is a nice man coverage. It's tough for linebackers to defend such athletic and talented tight ends like Matson there. So good play going into the 4th quarter.
One stanza remaining in this SFL semifinal game. Mexico City 27, Baltimore 13. You're watching the Simulation Football League on the Virtual Football Network. We welcome you back to Sports Gamers Online Stadium here in Baltimore, Maryland. Check out sportsgamersonline.com or check them out on YouTube and see why millions visit their website and YouTube channel. Start of quarter number 4. Wigmore trying to mount a comeback. That pass just off the mark. Irvin, the intended target. 2nd and 10 coming up. 14 points, the deficit in this 4th quarter if Baltimore wants to find a way to punch their championship ticket once again. Wigmore to throw again. That time he's on the money to Irvin. And it's 1st and 10. Continuing to move the chains late in this one.
And the thing, Cameron, is like for Baltimore, you want to score on this drive because you don't know how many more drives you're going to have in this 4th quarter right here. Because you would prefer a touchdown to cut it to 1-score game. You're almost thinking about, are you in 4-down territory this early in the 4th quarter?
Anthony getting to the end zone has been a challenge for Baltimore. We've seen them have to really kind of just be content with field goals for at least 2 drives in this game early on. So it's been a challenge as Murray takes this one underneath, 2nd and 8. And that's a tribute to really just how good this Mexico defense has done, that when Baltimore has gotten to this point of the field, they've been able to shut them down.
Yeah, it's like they will get to this red zone opportunity, and Mexico City has fumbled and got an interception on Baltimore. So let's see if something's different.
Throwing and incomplete. Again, that's intended for Matson. That was 40 on 40 there. Fowler and Matson, both of those guys have had big games this evening. And again, this is back to what we're talking about. It just seems like they run into this brick wall, and that is the Aztecs.
Yeah, they got to do something more than these quick passes here. 3rd and 8. You know, you're probably looking for Matson, so I'm trying to double team Matson if I'm Mexico City.
Mac Chima going in motion. Wigmore now rolling out, throwing hard, and it's intercepted. Intercepted at the goal line by the Hall of Famer Max Jackson. Maybe one of the most important interceptions of his storied career.
Read that play like a book the whole entire time. Playing center field. Was able to look at the quarterback's eyes. The quarterback stared down the drag route that was going over the middle. Didn't have enough zip up there. Big interception for Mexico City. And you feel the fans back home getting excited. They are in the driver's seat, looking to finish up this game.
For Max Jackson, that is his 108th interception of his career. That is second most all time. And like we said, that couldn't have come at a more important time. And like you said, Anthony, with 8:30 to go, the clock running and a 14-point deficit, we can never count the Vultures out, but Mexico has played a lights-out game up to this point.
Turnovers, that's the key to this game.
Morrison running hard, gets the first down, 8:10 remaining. Folks, we just have one game left after this, and you know what game that is? The SFL Championship. And that reminds us that it takes place next Saturday, May 10th, with pregame coverage starting at 3 p.m. Eastern. Kickoff to the big game, 4 p.m. Eastern. As that pass almost intercepted, boy, that could have been a difference maker in this one. Again, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Anthony. No, go right ahead.
No, that would have been. That is what you wanted if Baltimore. Your first turnover to be it just almost there. You got to be careful.
Baltimore trying to do everything they can to keep the foot in the door, to keep their hopes alive here. As Bartley goes in motion for the quarterback Sipe. And off to Bentley. Stiff arm. That's dangerous. And he gets that 1st and 10.
Ooh, that is just a big boy run right there. Was able to do a little chip move, cutting back in and bouncing outside, threw a stiff arm in there. You're gonna rely on Bentley and Morrison going into this latter half of the fourth quarter.
And you've seen the hit that Elijah Warfield laid on Bentley after that. No doubt letting out some frustration indeed. I mean, it's just been that kind of night, unfortunately, for the Vultures.
Yeah, it's been a rough game for Warfield. They've been picking on him on the outside, but all you do is just keep on bouncing back, going on to the next play.
Bentley behind the lineman there, trying to push his way forward. He's not going to get much, so that does bring up an important 3rd and 8 here, that if Baltimore wants to still have a chance at this one, they need to get Mexico City off the field.
And it all starts with this play.
This is a big one, folks. 3rd and 8. The crowd knows it. The Baltimore faithful know it. Mexico City knows it. Now they've just got to execute. Sipe, plenty of time, rolling, looking deep. And guess who? Noe Terrazas with the first down grab.
I am absolutely surprised. Says no one ever. Knew that play was going right to him. And it's just the perfect situation. You have a blanket, you have an underneath route and an over the top route. To throw the football on the outside, you got to throw it right after you get past the underneath cornerback. And he went up at the highest point and grabbed the football.
A 20-yard gain, and now Sipe, fairly comfortable, finds Bill Henry approaching the red zone now.
And
yeah, man, look at this, Anthony. I mean, now you start to see the excitement growing on these Mexico City players' faces.
Yeah, they know that as long as they don't turn the ball over and go outside of their means, that they're heading back to the championship right here. Baltimore needs to do something to get in their favor.
Sipe to throw. Touchdown! Guess who? Noe Terrazas. And I think without a shadow of the doubt, we're going to call that the Breaks GPT breakaway play of the game. Sports memorabilia breakers and collectors. You never know whose autographed helmet or jersey you might hit, and it could be Noe Terrazas. Check them out at breaksgpt.com. Boy, that's just a fitting end to this game here for Terrazas and the Aztecs.
Look, if they hold on to this victory, I know who the player of the game is. Just to let you know.
Yeah. Extra point by Blackwater is good. 10 receptions, 261 yards, and 3 touchdowns. An incredible evening. And it's becoming very apparent that our SFL championship, what this matchup might be. Now, I seen a comment there in the chat. Yes, that championship game will take place at 4 p.m. Eastern with Cameron Irvine and Charles Doherty live from the Virtual Football Network studios. So we invite you to join the entire SFL community for the biggest game of the year. Again, that's May 10th. That's a week from today, right here on the Virtual Football Network. Anthony, also, if Mexico City is able to hold on, it'll be the first time two international teams play for the SFL title. So a historic matchup in the making between Vancouver and Mexico City here.
It is crazy. I'm looking at it. You know, Terraza literally has almost 500 yards receiving and 2 playoff games. I said it before, Cameron, in the beginning. It's going to be unsung heroes. It's going to be players stepping up in the brightest lights. And that's what we saw today in Mexico City.
A game that's been full of clawing, scratching, and, you know, both of these teams fighting hard. You had Mexico City strong out of the gate. Baltimore with some very costly turnovers. They certainly fought their way back in this one. And in the end, it was the Mexico City Aztecs who, at this point, I should say, has been able to slam the door shut on the Vultures. Now, you know they're going to keep fighting. Half a quarter remaining here in this fourth. We'll see what they can come up with. Wigmore, plenty of time, unloads deep, flag on the play. That's their second penalty of the evening. It's been a very clean game to this point. And you're going to see that's going to go in Baltimore's favor there.
Yeah, a little bit much too much contact after 5 yards right there. That's a clear call there. You don't want to give anything to Baltimore if you're Mexico City, but I like it. You got to throw it. You got to press the field, Baltimore. You don't want to end on a sour note. You want to try to get some more points on the board.
And like you said, we don't want to look too far ahead too quick. We can say what we speculate could be the championship game, but if you are Baltimore, you'll continue to fight, and they're no better team at coming back from a deficit than these Vultures, who have had just a tremendous season. 2nd and 5 coming up here. Hurry up offense, throwing. Good coverage downfield by the Mexico City Aztecs. There's Fowler again, actually on the play, Anthony, who's had an incredible evening.
Absolutely phenomenal, playing the run so well, and then in pass coverage, just lurking that middle, has been giving Wigmore a hard time of the whole game.
3rd and 5, and we see Benji Matson, who again has been the difference maker for Baltimore this evening, who a lot of the good things that's happened for them this evening, it's been because of Matson. And look at Ivory Urban with easily his best reception of the evening, maybe even Wigmore's best throw. They're in the red zone. No huddle. End zone. Incomplete. Jeffrey Daggs there able to knock it away.
Yeah, and you wish you saw this earlier, but it's nice to see Baltimore not giving up. They're still fighting. You still have time. Look, anything can happen in this football game.
Well, it's not over until it says 0 on the clock. And the fact is Baltimore is a team that knows this. And they're a team that's a very, it's an organization that has a lot of pride in their work. And they're going to keep fighting. So Wigmore throwing. And I believe that was Fowler again, who he's going to give Wigmore nightmares this evening. That's all that number 9 is going to see in his dreams tonight.
Yeah, it's been a tough matchup. Their Fowler has just came up just phenomenal on defense.
Third and 10, obviously it goes without saying, but it's 4 down territory here. Benji Matson again goes in motion to the top of the screen. And the throw again into double coverage, and that's intended for Ivory Irvin. Clock stops at 4:07, and we said 4 down territory for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely right here. This probably could potentially be the ball game here, because with the timeouts and a couple first downs, Mexico can seal it. But this is a 4th down here. You got to get.
4th down. Final shot for Wigmore. And again, it's this Mexico City defense that has been like an ironclad fist, not giving any sort of opportunity for Baltimore when they get down to this side of the field. And a shot laid on the intended target. Liam Rhyme with the tip away. And that's Daley Holder, who took a shot right to the upper body there.
Yeah, and like I said, the theme of the game has just been hard-nosed offense and defense here, and Mexico City just came to play a little bit more than Baltimore.
Mexico City will get the ball back in the name of the game. Give it to your halfbacks and your fullbacks and try to run this clock out. Bentley will start that. It's a loss of 1 on the play. Folks, we want to remind you, you're watching the Simulation Football League right here on the Virtual Football Network. And this coming week on the VFN will feature semifinal weekend, of course, tonight, plus UFL on Monday and Thursday before coverage of the 24th SFL Championship next Saturday. So let me read that one more time. Of course, you've got the coverage of the semifinal weekend concluding tonight, then UFL on Monday and Thursday, and then the SFL Championship next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Virtual football lives on the Virtual Football Network. As we see Bentley again in there with the carry. Go ahead, Anthony.
And just, Baltimore fans, this is not the outcome that you're looking for, but you still had a phenomenal season. When you're 11-2 and you have been just dominating throughout the league. You've been to the championship so many times. You're going to be back there, and the thick of things next year. You go into off season, you look for free agents, key free agents that you can add to it, but you don't keep your head up higher here because this has been still a great season for your team.
Well said, Anthony. And to the point, like we were saying a little bit earlier, this is a team that is very proud of their success in the SFL, a fantastic organization that truly, like you said, 2 losses on the season. Their last loss came in week 4, and then from then on, they went on a tear. They never looked back. So, again, another stellar season for Baltimore. And, you said that perfectly, my friend.
Yeah, we all want the outcome to be the same, winning the championship. But, you grow and you learn and you build there. You want to add some more fresh blood to your team. You got the draft that's going to add people here. So, it's regaining, restacking up of your team.
2 minutes remaining here in Baltimore. You're watching the SFL on the Virtual Football Network. It's been a game full of all-stars, and we've had an all-star crew here this evening. I've been fortunate. My name's Cameron Duty. I'm with Anthony Ellison, Justin Reside, and Ron Haynes, and Cameron Irvine. Those great all-stars right there with us here in the booth and SFL headquarters this evening. It's certainly been a pleasure. Mexico City getting ready to celebrate the fruits of their labors in about 1 minute and 53 seconds. Another note that was passed along to us, Baltimore has just 7 postseason losses, Anthony, but get this. Their worst postseason loss up to this point, a 14-point deficit. They're down by 21 right now. Now, that will be a record for them as far as their worst loss in this postseason. But I think that says a lot about just the lack of postseason losses that they have experienced.
Yeah, they had a positive record in the postseason. They've been the definition of what postseason football is.
Yeah, they as a timeout it's called there, folks, as they continue to try to move down the field. They have been what all these other teams have wanted to build towards, and one of those teams being Mexico City there. And now they've got an opportunity to take their place at the top of the food chain, if you will, and the top of the upper echelon of SFL. And right now dominating and doing a really good job, a great organization down there that has certainly worked hard to get to this point. And as we said, folks, it's looking like Mexico City will face Vancouver and from Baltimore, Maryland. And I must say, this will be the first international SFL title matchup. It's going to be a lot of excitement leading into next week, Anthony.
So much excitement building up. It's championship week. and you're just going to see what the league is doing, growing with these international teams, and we're only going to keep on growing, and you're going to see a lot more with SFL coming up.
Being that Baltimore is the host site of the SFL convention, this will take place at Zollner Championship Field. So that's one of the exciting things that goes along with the perks of not only the SFL convention, but making it at the championship game, as the convention site is also a championship site. Wigmore throwing deep, that pass in the air. Matson was there, but he couldn't bring it down. Incomplete. Also, speaking of that SFL convention, folks, rooms are going fast for the 2025 convention, which will kick off this league's 25th anniversary season, July the 10th through the 13th. And if you want to go, you need to book your stay now. As soon as this game is over, join SFL Nation at the rooftop hotel, or the rooftop pool of the host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, to which you can reserve your room right now at a special group rate at semfl.net. So a lot, as you said, Anthony, to be excited about if you are an SFL fan.
Yeah, a lot. And Cameron, as this game concludes here, is Mexico City coming back to the championship back-to-back years? Are we seeing a dynasty being built in Mexico City?
At this, Mac Chima. Baltimore says, yeah, enough with the celebration talk. We're still out here playing. Easily probably the best pitch and catch there from Wigmore to Chima today.
That's a good throw. One of the throws that you've been seeing that's been really good for Wigmore today. I've been throwing the football 53 times. And it's good to see them keep fighting once again. This is something that you're going to take in the offseason and you're going to build on.
Extra point is good by Tarkington. We do expect to see an onside kick here as they try to, with a minute 26 now. It's interesting, able to get on the board there. If they get a couple turnovers their way, who knows? It starts here. Tarkington with the onside kick. It's contested. Flags on the field. We'll see what the ref has.
That'll be a re-kick.
Illegal onside kick. We'll try it again.
Let it get past 10 yards, and then it's up for grabs.
And here we go. That one has a little more leg on it. And that was Jason Bartley who was able to bring that one in. And now we expect the ceremonial kneel downs and the burning of the timeouts, I would assume, at this point. And then after that, in about a minute and some change, Mexico City will begin the celebration, and we will know just who will face Vancouver next week.
That's going to be a very exciting game here. I know everyone is going to be excited. The best formation in football is this victory formation, and we see it out right now.
This victory is important and special for Mexico City in a lot of ways, one of which we alluded to a little bit earlier. Baltimore has had Mexico City's number in this matchup, 11 wins to 3 losses. We talked about that. It had been, before tonight, season 16 was the last time that Mexico City was victorious over Baltimore. In fact, earlier this season, in the regular season when these two met, Baltimore edged out Mexico City by a score of 23-20. So, yes, they are going to the championship game. That's the big goal. But they love that it come against the team that they have struggled so hard to defeat in games past.
It's just like, it's getting over the hump, and, taking the throne away from a team that's been in the championship and doing well in the playoffs. And that's why I said, I was asking Cameron, like, Mexico City, are we seeing something special with this team going to back-to-back championships and doing it the way they do it, like, and playing defense and big plays on offense? Are we seeing something special here?
I think we could be on the precipice of seeing a great organization such as Baltimore. It's going to be really interesting to see. And we know we've got a good matchup coming up with them in Vancouver next week. That's a Legion team that has a lot to say about that. And it's going to be a tough battle indeed if Mexico City wants to repeat as champions. Going to be a lot of fun. 10 seconds, and this semifinal round will be in the books. Mexico City beats Baltimore. They come in to Sports Gamers Online Stadium and beat the Vultures 34-20. The championship matchup is all set. It's number 4 Mexico City versus number 3 Vancouver next week from Zonier Championship Field in Baltimore, Maryland at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anthony, final thoughts and game balls, my friend.
Game ball is going to go to Terraza here with over 260 yards plus receiving off of 10 catches, 14 targets there. That's going to be something Vancouver going to need to lock down, because that's going to be your problem right there. I'm also want to give a shout out to the defense right there, getting 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble that just kept Baltimore staggered, and it was able Mexico City to get the victory.
Folks, it's been a pleasure. For Cameron Irvine, Justin Rasad, Ron Haynes, and my buddy Anthony Elson, my name is Cameron Duty. Congratulations to Mexico City and Vancouver. We'll see you next week for the SFL Championships. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.